Welcome back to our Python course. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the use of the input and output functions. At the same time, share to you what are Python identifiers. So if you want to print out something on the screen using Python, the command that we use here is the print statement or the print command. While if you need to uh, ask the user for certain input, we're going to use here the input statement or the input command. Now, let's have here Python identifiers. A Python identifier is a name used to identify a variable, a function, a class, module, or other objects in Python. The identifier starts with a letter from A to Z, both uppercase and lowercase, and you could also include here an underscore, followed by 0 or more letters, underscores, and digits. Python does not allow punctuation characters such as the @ symbol, dollar, and then the percent within the identifiers. Python is a case-sensitive programming language. Okay? So if you have here manpower, this is a different identifier as compared to manpower wherein the first character here is in lowercase. So these are two different identifiers. Here are some of the naming conventions that you need to know when using Python identifiers. Number one, the class name starts with an uppercase, okay? All other identifiers starts with the lowercase. Starting an identifier with a single leading underscore indicates that identifier is private. This is in terms of the scope resolution of our variables. Starting with identifier with two leading underscore indicates strongly that the identifier is also private. And last is if the identifier also ends with two trailing underscores, the identifier is a language-oriented special, a language-defined special name. Okay? So these are your Python identifiers. Now let's try to write some codes here in Python. So now back in our Python shell. So since Python is an interpreter program, so whatever you type here, Python will interpret it. So let's say we want to define some variables here. So A is equals to 10, is equals to 10, enter, and then B is equals to 20. So what we have here is we defined the variable A and set it with 10, while B is equals to 20. If we want to display the output or the values for A and B here, all we need to do is to type here the print statement, use the print statement, open parentheses, and then the variable that we want to display. Let's say we want to display the value of A. Just press, just type here print, open parentheses, and then the variable that you like to display. Press enter. Python already interprets that we have here the value of A. So if you want to print out the value of B here, just type here print, open parenthesis A, and then, not A, but rather B, then press enter. Since we are in the shell here, we could also do or perform arithmetic operations such as we could have here C is equals to A is equals to A plus B. And then if you want to print out the sum of the values, just type here where we stored the addition that is in C right now. So just type here print, open parenthesis, C, and then enter. So every time that you try to execute something here in our Python shell, okay, the Python interprets it and then prints out our code. So that's how it works. But in most cases, this would not be that appropriate because it would display as our prompt here. Now, what we could do is we could create our own file. So you go to the file and then create a new file here. Okay. Now, what we could do here is we could type in the commands and later execute it in our shell. So let's say we want to print out hello world again. So what we're going to do is to type here print, open parenthesis, double quote, hello world. Okay. And then let's declare another variable. Let's say A is equals to 5, B is equals to, let's say, 15, Let's solve for the sum. C is equals to A plus B. And then let's print out the values wherein we have here print the sum is, okay, like that. And then print C. Okay. Now, so this is our code. Then let's run it here. But before that, let's save the file. Go to File, Save. Now we're saving this file here. You could go to anywhere to save your codes. So in my case, I'll go to my desktop. I'll create a new folder. Let's call this as PyCodes. Okay, enter. And then go inside our PyCodes folder. And then let's give it a name of 1. So just random name here. The format or the extension will be .py or .py. Just click here, save, and we already saved the file. In order for you to run our program, all you need to do is go to the run and then run module. Okay, it will now execute this particular module, and on this line here, it will show us the codes or the output of the command that we have executed or we have typed here. So first is we able to print out hello world. We assign values of 5 and A to 5, then B to 15. We solve for the sum, and then we able to print out. Now, if you still like to display the output, let's say what's the value of 5, we could still do that. You go back here, just type here print, then A, that will display the value of A. Print B, that will also still display the value of B here. Save the file. Okay, save it, and then run module, and it will now display as the output here. Okay, now we could also perform input operation in Python. Okay, because if you go back to our codes here, what we did is we make A and B as constant we assign them with constant values. Now we can change this one. Okay, let's say we want to ask the user to input values. Now we will use a command that is called input. So let's say this pound sign here is a remark, so this is for input. We will have a remark here, so input statement or command. Okay, there. Now let's ask the user to input the command. So let's type here A is equals to input, open parenthesis, enter first number. Okay, there. So this will now prompt the user to enter the first number. Now, the thing here is that when we execute this, the interpreter would interpret this that the value that will be stored in A will be on a string type. In order for us to make it a value, we need to include here our data type, let's say int or integer. Okay, so we need to incorporate here int, open parenthesis, and then the output that we're going to have will be in a form of integer. Okay, so let's copy this again and then paste it here. So this time enter the second number. Okay, so we're going to print out the value of B here, and then let's compute for the sum. So file, save as. Let's save this file to our second program so that we'll have a reference. Save it. So this is 2, and then run the module. Okay, it goes back here to our shell. As you can see, it's prompting us to enter the first number. Let's say 6, enter, 8, enter. We're able to print out the values of A, which is 6, 8 is for our second number, which is B. The sum is 14. Okay, now let's try to modify our output. It means that, let's say we want to have the value after this. To do that, all you need to do is, since the value is already stored in C, let's remove this, and then you just press here Okay, you just press here letter C. Okay, that will now print out our value. Okay, let's save the file. Okay, and let's run our module again. Now it's still prompting us to enter the first number. Let's say 10, enter 20, enter 10, 20, and then the sum is 30. Okay? Now, let's again modify our codes. What if we would like to display now what were the values inputted by the user? We have it already here that displays the value. So let's modify our program. This time, we're going to ask the user we're going to say the addition of both A and B is, and the sum is like that, okay? To do that, we just need to issue here print open parentheses. Now, let me type the codes first. The sum of, okay, 0 plus 1 is 2. Okay, just let me type the code first so that I could show you, then explain it later here. Okay, so I have your A, B, and then C. Okay, and then we have another close parenthesis. So let's remove this one. Okay, let's also remove this section here. So what's the code? So we're going to print out this text. We have here the sum of curly brace 0, curly brace 1 is curly brace 2. Now, we're just going to substitute for the values of A, B, and C here. So 0 will hold the value of A, 1 will hold the value of B, while 2 will hold the value of C. Let's save our code. So go to File, Save As. I'm going to save it as our third file here. Okay, then let's run our module. Now we're asked to press enter the first number. Let's make it 12. Second number is 13. And then you have here the sum of 12, which is our first number, plus 23, which is our second number, is equals to 35. Okay, so this is how we display text at the same time input values using Python. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.